Good morning, Eddie. This is Eddie Brennan. How are you?
How are you doing?
Eddie, I'm just here today just to ask you a few questions in relation to the effects of alcohol on playing sport, and just wanted your views in general, what you think of, people that may drink and play sport, or what is your general opinion about that?
I suppose, I'm after having been lucky enough to play a few years at inter-county hurling with Kilkenny, and I suppose like any sports person, they'll tell you that involves a lot of sacrifice and dedication, and to perform your best, or to be able to go into train on 3 and 4 nights a week and perform, you have to be supplying your body with the right nutrients and the right food, and I suppose alcohol and drinking just doesn't come into that category. It would completely fly against the face of what you're trying to achieve, and I suppose when you get a bit older you start to realise this, it's especially important. But I suppose to survive for a few years or any length of time playing inter-county hurling or football or any sport, just alcohol just doesn't come into it. Just wouldn't be completely counterproductive.
Yeah. It's something obviously that's very predominant in society, probably, would you say, in general in Ireland at the moment. We do seem to have a culture for alcohol drinking, and I suppose from what you're saying, obviously that has a negative effect on playing at a high level. What would you suggest to people, like in general, in terms of just being healthy, or as players, kind of what advice would you get for a healthy lifestyle, or would you have, what would be your opinion on that?
Well, I suppose like the first point there in relation to the cultural thing, I suppose as a nation we probably you learn how to drink, I suppose, by trial and error. It's not so much part of, I think European cultures, I suppose there's more, there's a teaching aspect to it or whatever, and you learn how to cope with something, whereas I think Ireland is just, we have unfortunately this culture of binge drinking, and I suppose it did go hand in hand with sport for a long time, but I suppose it's evolving now without a doubt, because I think performance in relation to any sport across the board in Ireland now, and it requires the utmost of dedication, and as I said, alcohol just doesn't come into that. For me personally, I suppose I enjoy participating in sport, and I suppose that comes from coming from the parish ethos, where you're a family orientation in relation to playing Gaelic games, or I suppose any sport for that matter, and for me I enjoy the participation, I suppose, more than anything else, the friends that you make out of it, and I suppose there is a social side to it, and for me that's getting out and meeting people.
Yeah, of course, that's very important as well. Yeah.
That's the most important part of it, but I suppose my advice to people is, I suppose, this thing of binge drinking, I suppose, and going out, and it's unfortunately a part, I suppose, of college life, that for maybe first year, it's a way of bedding down. And I suppose I didn't go to college, so I don't know, but I suppose the Garda College was the nearest thing for me.
Sure.
And
probably very similar though.
Very similar, I suppose, in terms of that. And like anything, apart from sport, there's the arithmetic side or the academic side of things, and I suppose for myself, work related. If you're going into work, it's not a runner. And the same with college. I suppose you have an opportunity for a few years, and some people look at it as an opportunity to let the hair down, but it's an opportunity to shape your future and get the best education you possibly can. And I suppose the present climate will reinforce that. Like it's a competitive market out there as regards getting jobs, and if I suppose if college and your education is going to be getting second best or a bit of a blur to you, you're leaving yourself at a serious disadvantage.
Yes, that's very true, very true. Well, listen, Eddie, we'd like to thank you very much for your time, and we hope people looking at this, the students, will think about alcohol and the relationship alcohol has on sport and on their life in general. So again, thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, all the best.